Hello, all you rebel scum. Welcome to No Clipping Through the Net. Grab yourself a glass of Andorian Tip-Yup and get cozy in Mos Eisley Cantina. I'm here joined by my amazing co-pilot Oku on my other side, wherever he appears. I'm Shocho, and this is a little mini episode we're going to work on for today.
Yeah, okay, that was a fantastic intro. Thank you for leading us in. Today we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett, because I feel like that's a good topic to talk about when we're both invested in it at the moment. We've been talking a lot recently amongst ourselves and on various Discord servers and Twitter threads and whatnot. Um, what are your opinions on the first four episodes as a collective in general? Because I feel like you can very easily separate this show between what happens before episode 5 and then after episode 4, when episode 5 and 6 take place. So what's kind of your general feeling?
I, okay, the first four episodes, you're right, there is like a serious, bookend at the end of that towards 5. Um, there is they're okay. They're they're not groundbreaking. They
It's
weren't
a mixed bag, right?
yeah. It was a very mixed bag, and I was firmly sat in the middle of my seat with my arms planted by my side, kind of like, oh, this is all right. And I was like, oh, it's Star Wars stuff. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
argue with that. I was like, this is, it's been teased since the end of Mandalorian season 2, so great. And oh, I'm probably wrong with that, but
No, you're
anyway,
correct, yeah.
yeah, okay. And yeah, great. It's so cool. More Star Wars content, and it's Boba Fett. We barely even saw him in the OT. He just died.
Yes.
Well, died as we see in this. The issue with this series, the first four episodes is the pacing. There's no way to know
Yeah. It's
how
very
the rhythm of it.
strange. But also, like,
But
Sorry, can I just add something onto
yeah,
that?
go
Not
on, go
only
on.
the pacing, but the pacing comboed with the actual writing content is really weirdly varied. Like, there's some
Yeah.
excellent stuff, and then, like, it's kind of swimming in a sea of stuff that's fine, but doesn't really capture your attention the same as most of the stuff in, like, Mandalorian, for example.
No, this series is the definition of a slow burn, honestly. If you
Mm.
thought WandaVision was a slow burn,
This is
this
worse.
is yeah, this is just like a smoldering fire compared to it, honestly. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna shy away from my disappointment with the first four episodes. I mean, there are some great bits with it, but there are some. I think with this issue with this series is that the first four episodes of this series is that the bad far outweighs the good.
Yes.
Um, but that's just my synopsis on the first four episodes. The
I
last
mean,
two that we've had recently.
yeah, the last two have been fantastic, and I agree with you that the bad kind of outweighs the good, because just to talk about the things that I personally have really liked from the first kind of four episodes, Chapter 2, I think was a Mandalorian worthy episode. It does have some crap at the start. To just refresh people's memory, they like interrogate an assassin, and then they go to visit the mayor, who denies sending an assassin. Um, and then the mayor kind of insinuates that Jabba was the one who was behind it, and it was like Jabba's cousins, whatever. They appear, and have that whole thing where they have a standoff with Boba in the middle of the street, and Chrysanthemum is there looking really cool. And then they go away, and it's kind of boring. Then we get into the story with the Sand People, right? And he's now living with them, and they're kind of teaching each other about themselves. And he has that whole thing where he helps them with the gangster guys, and then he helps them with the hover train, and that's good. That's really good writing, but everything else just feels like we're just kind of treading through mud. Um, can we talk about Chapter 3? Can we talk about
Yeah,
Chapter 3 for a second? Because that
yeah.
episode was so... Oh, I don't even know what to make of it. It's Robert Rodriguez, right? Who, for anyone who doesn't know, this man directed the Spy Kids films, and in my opinion, he directed this episode like he was still directing the Spy Kids films. That speeder chase is so bad. I can't pinpoint exactly what's so awful about it, apart from the fact that it's really slow. I think it just looks silly because it's not high energy. It's like desperately trying to be high energy, and it's not, right?
Do you reckon that like when they pitched it to him, or however they approached him, however they got him involved, he was like, "Hey guys, I really want to like divert from all the stuff I did years ago. I'm a changed man. I've been working so hard on all this stuff, and I really want to bring something to the table here." And they're like, "Yeah, of course it sounds great. Like, what's the idea you got?" And I'm like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, it's all this stuff. There's gonna be this awesome action chase scene. Um, it's gonna remind people of the 90s and the noughties and whatever, but it'll be kind of like a good blend of everything." And they're like, "Okay, it sounds promising." And they left, and he went hee and like stuck the white cat on his lap, and immediately went and made this absolute trash fire of an episode.
He just rewatched Spy Kids 3, the one where they get trapped in the video game, and was like, "Oh yes, perfect."
Yeah. We went back with him after someone's knocking on the door. So.
Oh yeah, no worries. It's just a mess because it feels like something that shouldn't exist in 2022.
Yeah, not even 2022 in any kind of like past. When was the last Spy Kids movie? Like 2003 or something.
2000. I'm gonna look it up because the original was like the year we were born, right? Like that. The original film's as old as us. Spy Kids 3. Oh yeah, it's called Game Over. Oh my god, you're right. It is 2003. No way. Huh.
That guy worked for like so many years. He's like, and they're gonna want Spy Kids next year and next year, and then I'm gonna go quiet. And then in the next 19 years, I can't do maths, but like the next 19 years, I'll come back and rebirth my power. It's just like, honestly, that chase scene is like, it's just like the opposite of action. It's like, I think you actually like become more depressed watching it.
Yeah. It's so odd, and like it really takes the joy out of watching. No, okay, fine. There's not really much joy in this episode to begin with, but like it takes any joy that's left out of it, and you're kind of sitting there like, yeah, this is cool. I think no, it's not. It's really bad. And then I don't know. Chapter 4 kind of picks up the slack, but not massively. It's like. I don't know how you feel about it, but this is one we were literally just talking about a minute ago. And reading through the synopsis on Wiki to remind myself what happened is like it's just a trawl. It doesn't fill me with a happy memory of like, oh man, I enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, it's also the fact that we make notes for every podcast that we record because we like to be prepared. We like to we know we can go off topic and stuff like that. We literally had to look up every single. For the first 4 episodes, I had to look up exactly what happened because we fucking forgot.
Yeah.
There'd be key parts that we liked personally, but for the most part, like that's a really bad thing for your series if people generally have to look up what happened in the first 4 episodes.
Yes.
Because I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like episode 4, it's like the music is great. I absolutely loved Thundercat's little like bass player. Like I was like, when is this on Spotify? I can't wait.
Yeah,
it was just
his stuff. The stuff he did is on there, but I don't think he has an artist credit because I went looking for it and I was like, there's no Thundercat artist credit, so I have to assume this is the one because this sounds like him. But yeah, I don't think he's actually listed on the soundtrack album yet, which is kind of weird. But he does a good job.
Yeah, no, he's like. He blends this kind of foreboding, creepy atmosphere. Well, not creepy atmosphere, but it's kind of like this kind of hive
offbeat.
of scum and villainy place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool cameo. It's a cool like, oh, he's there. And
oh hey, it's on there now. He's been added. The mod parlor. Joseph Shirley, Ludwig Göransson, and Thundercat. Yeah, nice.
I will pop that on and later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool seeing. Like, I mean, like I think you messaged me about it. You were like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but I've got to send you this."
Yeah, I showed you the picture, and I was like, I was sitting there because when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, that can't be who it looks like." Is it? No, that can't be who it looks like. Is it? And then he turns around. I saw his face and fall. I was like, oh my god, it's Thundercat.
But like,
Anyone who's
even that cameo couldn't save it.
no,
It's still a boring episode.
it was still a boring episode. It's like
Oh.
it has cool moments though. Like I will say, we're kind of shitting on it, but every episode I think had like at least a couple moments that are cool because it's Star Wars and it's Boba Fett and he looks cool in the armor and I remember enjoying the part where they're stealing Slave One and Fennec's like on the ship while Boba's like loading it up. It's very video game. Like she shoots the thing through the gap and she's fighting the dudes off the thing. That's cool. It's just like they can't keep that level up for some reason until episode 5 when it all just gets magically better because Bryce Dallas Howard is directing and Mando's back, and those are like 2 keys to success. I'm done talking about the negatives for a while. If you want to talk about the good episodes now, let's fucking do that. Take it away with your thoughts on episode 5.
My notes just start off with fucking awesome. It's like, it's weird that there's not much Boba in this one.
He's not even in this episode. He doesn't appear a single time.
Yeah. It's awesome to see like Din Djarin again and see all like his side of stuff because that's what started off this craze in the first place. That's the reason that this series exists.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you, it is the reason it exists because like they know they can do live action series now, but there's a big difference. Is the character compelling? Have you given that character enough room to grow? Have you given that character enough? Do they have actual personality? Whereas Boba's just a dude who likes a rancor and says, like a bantha! And
like
then
a
it's just
bantha. He's so odd, isn't he? Because he's been a fan favourite character since like 1980 when like I watched the Under the Helmet documentary recently about this character and it was like in between, it was like in the gap between the first Star Wars movie and Empire coming out, and they like did this like parade thing where they got the guy who does like the actual physical body of Darth Vader to dress up as Darth Vader, and then they got the guy who originally played Boba. They were like, hey, the suit fits you, can you wear it to this parade? And he goes there, and literally since that point Boba has been like a fan favorite character. That's like 4 decades now, and you get to this point and suddenly it all goes terribly wrong because I think John and the others working on the show just kind of lost sight of what makes the character such a fan favorite, and now he's like a happy friendly guy who loves giving the Rancor a pat on the head, and he's like making jokes like a bantha, like yeah, okay, it's funny, but it's not, I don't know, it feels like a mistreatment, right? It feels like a mishandling of the character.
It's not gripping us, yeah. It's not making us. It's not kind of. It's done the opposite for me. I'm just like, okay.
It's turned me off the character.
Anymore. Yeah. Like they're gonna probably try Django Fett next and be like, okay, we need to go further back this time. Like, because that'll be a great idea. And wasn't it the same actor playing? Isn't it not the same actor that played Django Fett?
Yes. And the clone troopers in the prequels, yeah.
So that I don't know. That's kind of a weird choice on my side.
I think the weird thing about Boba and having it be the same actor, right, is like I like it because it makes sense because all the clones and Django and Boba look the same as each other. But people were very quick to point out that Tamara is starting to look a little old. And at this point in Boba's life, he shouldn't look that old. Okay, I get it. He's just been in the Sarlacc pit for like 3-4 years or something. Like, okay, fine. But I just feel like he's aged too much. It's the Tatooine magic. It's what happened to Obi-Wan. He got very old very quickly, and I don't know. It's strange. It feels out of place, and okay, maybe this is like a little bit of a small gripe, but it just stands out, you know?
I mean, their loophole for Obi-Wan's age will be, oh, it's the Force and how he used so much Force and was mourning so much over Anakin that he aged so much. And I'd be like, sure, just give us some more decent Star Wars content, please. Like, but yeah, to continue on with like the Episode 5 stuff.
Yeah, of course, that was our main point we were moving on to.
It's really nice to see our Mando kicking ass and like him with the Darksaber. Like it was like a weird first action scene. 'Cause he's really clumsy with it, and like he gets his ass kicked at him. And I'm pretty sure some people will be like, "Oh, this sucks now because they made him not OP anymore." And it's like, yeah, but there's a reason why he's struggling with that sword. It's because it's not like it's not quite a regular sword. It's not like a lightsaber kind of thing.
It's cool context, and also I love that like the armorer is a character who very you good?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I love that the armorer is a character who they can use to give Mandalorian and Mandalore exposition without it feeling like forced, because she was there, she was on Mandalore, she knows everything about the Darksaber and stuff, so I like that they just bring her in and she can give some exposition about the Darksaber and say like, oh, well, you're fighting it, you have to be in tune with the Darksaber, and you're not, so that's why you're having such a problem with it. And I didn't quite catch it at first when I first watched the episode, but on rewatch, it's so obvious in that fight that he's like dragging it like round and swinging it really heavy, and then he like cuts his leg because it's just so unwieldy.
And it was a cool thing when Paz Vizsla came up and he was like, "That was made by my ancestor," however many years before, and it was like, oh, we could get his story because he's a cool character. Like he's been around since like he was in like episode 3 of Mando, I think.
Yes, the
When
sin.
we first see him, yeah. I'm also rewatching it as well. So
nice, dude.
Because we need our fix. We're like, this has been terrible. Let's just watch Mandalorian.
Yeah, literally, man. That's why I've gone back to it. I'm up to episode 5 now. I've watched Sanctuary again, which is episode 4. Bryce.
Yeah,
my favorite.
Yeah, like the pacing of this again, like I think she gets the quiet stoicism of the Mandalorian way.
Yes.
For example, the armorer who is just like, have you removed your helmet? And there's no emotion to her voice at all. There is no. She speaks so monotonously that everything that she says feels like there's so much authority.
Yeah.
And there is, because she's the armorer. She has the most authority because she makes everything. She's like pretty much the head of it, basically.
Yeah,
right?
she commands the room. And I love that you've pointed out the whole quiet stoicism thing, because that is literally it, and that's what is part of what makes Mando work so well as a character and so well as a show. Sorry, it's just rain hit the window really hard. I was trying to figure out where the noise is coming from. He works because he's quiet, and all of his emotion is conveyed through this helmet that does not change. His helmet obviously cannot emote, and everything that needs to be conveyed is conveyed through it. With Boba, it's like, to figure out what he's doing, we have to remove his helmet every 5 seconds and have him stand and talk to someone with the helmet off. Like, what the hell's that?
It's not even that. Like, they didn't need to remove the helmet that much. He just does it. I don't think he's even Mandalorian. That was a question that I saw online, was that I think he's just got the armor. Because he's like, he takes it off so much, and he's just kind of like I'm a weird, silly, goofy guy. Look at me. It's like, dude, you are like, this is why you stand out badly from every other Mandalorian character we've seen, is because the rest of them have mastered, and it might not be the actor's fault. I'm pretty sure it isn't. I'm confident that it like they the writers were bad with it.
Yes.
I mean, they were pretty weird with him when he was in Attack of the Clones as well. Or was it Attack of the Clones? Yeah. Like when they were in Camino and stuff. And like he was just like all kind of like, oh, look at me, I'm sinister and bad and stuff. And it's like, I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Odd. I don't know if that was really, but.
I mean, the thing is.
Point...
No, sorry, no. You finish what you were saying. You finish what you were saying.
my point is the reason we like Paz Vizsla and Din Djarin and the Armorer so much is because they're just stoic and they have mastered the way to somehow convey that emotion through their helmet and their body language.
Yeah.
Because, like when you're watching like the earlier stuff of Mandalorian, you kind of like because there's no one there around him to kind of say, "Hey, that's not the way."
Mhm.
Kind of just by pausing and saying nothing and staring like a slight head tilt, it tells you so much.
Yeah.
And then with Boba, they tell you too much that you kind of just like, this isn't what I'm used to with this. But it's not as if we're asking him to be the exact same. We're just asking him to be
What he
not
was.
weird. Yeah.
Right? Because it's odd. That's the best way to describe it. It's odd. And I know it's a weird line to kind of tread because Boba isn't a Mandalorian. He just wears it's Django's armor, right? That he repainted to
I
be
didn't know
green.
that, but yeah.
I'm just gonna fact check myself real quick. Yes, yeah, it is.
It's gonna be,
So
yeah.
he wears Django's armor, and Django received it from the Mandalorians. So I don't think Django is even from Mandalore originally. But my point is, he's not a Mandalorian, but it feels like they're trying to make him really different to Din. Do you get that vibe? Like they're trying too hard to make him this other kind of character of his own.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I know what I want. I want him to be cool and collected, and I want him to beat the crap out of people. Because let's think about what the large majority of the things Boba has done so far in this series is stand, look tired, and talk to people. He has done an immense amount of talking, and what I think people really want is to him to be helmet down, jetpacking around, firing off his rockets at people, blasting people in the face, using the flamethrower. It's just a shame that they've wasted what little time they have, right? It's a 7-episode season. You don't have that much time to use, and you've wasted it on him being silly, funny guy who talks to people. And they can't get the balance right. There are points where it feels like Fennec is doing a lot of talking for him when he's perfectly capable of commanding a room. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent, but you get what I'm saying. It's weird. It's a mishandling. It's a mishandling of the character.
Yeah, it is. It is just like, I think Fennec was cooler than Boba, if I'm honest. Honestly, like she was like, it felt like they got the scripts handout wrong. They didn't
Yeah.
write the names on like the calling cards of like how we should emote and stuff like that. So maybe it should have been Fennec that was like going like a benta to the
Yeah.
to the Raiders. Maybe it was meant to be Fennec all along, but like I don't know. But like,
No, I
The,
100% agree with that.
yeah. Back onto the positive stuff. I think we're bouncing back. I mean, I'm fine with that because it's funny. Because it's like, at least it's clear what we're on about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we said,
episode-
okay, let's talk about the positives now, and then we just kept,
Cool.
like, ranting on and on about Okay. Just a quick insertion, though. Did you know that Ming-Na Wen, who plays Fennec, is 58? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she's 58. It's crazy.
What is she doing? Like
I
is it-
don't know. Insane
not
healthcare
Tatooine,
routine.
like, Maybe she's like going in that healing bath that C-3PO went in the OT.
Yeah.
I'm such a Star Wars nerd, man. Fucking hell. Yeah.
Well, that's
speaking of
useful
things-
considering we're doing a podcast about it.
Yeah, it helps. Speaking about being a Star Wars nerd,
Mm-hmm.
Episode 5, when I forgot that the Razor Crest was destroyed, and I was like, oh, sad because I missed that. It was like the cooler version of the Milano from Guardians of the Galaxy. 'Cause it sounded like a fucking muscle car out of a ship.
Yes.
And we go to see I forget her name, the mechanic lady in the pit
Pelly.
and stuff. Pelly. We see Pelly again, and I'm like, oh, these guys again. Oh, that's cool. And she brings up there's the child isn't with him anymore, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh, she obviously misses him. and it was fun seeing the pit droids again because they're funny.
The pit droids are funny. You know what was
Yeah.
fucking hilarious is when she's getting like gotten by the Womp Rat and Din like shoots it and she's like, "What an entrance!" And then she's like, "Hey everyone, Mando's here!" And then like the pit droids just like turn around and fuck off.
Mando's just the exact same stage, just like
Yeah, just
it's
yeah.
just the Mandalorian size on the comments or something like that. You know,
She's so funny, like the whole way through.
Yeah.
Like she's so charismatic. It's like I enjoyed her in Mando. She was good. She was a good, fun character. But it feels like Bryce has just come in and like tweaked her a bit. Like her and
Yeah.
John have just kind of like upscaled her a little bit. And now I just think she's like perfect where she is. She's a really funny character. Yeah. Sorry, I just gotta.
Yeah. I think Bryce did just say to her, just up it a little bit, just keep going.
Okay, so in reference to the actress Amy Sedaris, you were saying you reckon that Bryce had asked her to just turn it up a little notch, and that's how she'd gotten into that really good place with it. And I agree with that fully, because I had completely forgotten that she was in 2 episodes in the second season of Mandalorian. She's in The Marshal and The Passenger, which are the first 2 episodes of Mando season 2. And I think like part of the reason I don't remember that is because I've only seen Mando season 2 once. It's less memorable, but also I think her performance hadn't really been like fully gauged up yet, so we weren't quite there. But yeah, no, she's a great part of that episode, and I think it's really interesting to see them use the N1 Starfighter again from Phantom Menace. But you were going to make the comparison to it looking like something else. I can't remember what you said though, but you were saying how cool that was.
Well, I mentioned to you when I first watched it that I thought it was General Grievous' ship.
Yes, that's it.
Because you could see only kind of like the front half of it,
Mm-hmm.
and because it looked like it was leant back. I think it was some with the camera trickery and stuff, but it did look like it was the one he uses. You know the one that I mean, not the one that spins around and has legs that he uses.
Yeah,
in Attack of the
yeah.
Clones. But Attack of the Clones. Sorry, no, that's
Revenge of the Sith, but I'm with
Revenge
you.
of the
Yeah,
Sith, yeah. It's I don't know what it's called, but it's a fucking awesome ship. I remember
it
playing
is sick.
It's have a look at it actually.
Mm-hmm.
General Grievous ship. AO3. Who do you ship? Wow, this is an awesome name. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The Soulless One, a customized Feathen Otror scalable assemblies Belbalab 22 Starfighter,
What the
was the
fuck?
personal ship of General Grievous. So it's basically just a customized Belbalab 22 heavy starfighter.
Holy shit!
But it is
Yeah.
still a starfighter, which is why I thought it was. You see what I mean, though? It does look quite
It
similar.
does look similar, yeah. It's got the same structure of having the back bit, like the middle bit, stick out further than the 2 bits at the front, which are on either side.
I do want one. I want a Lego one really badly.
It's pretty cool.
But
I think
the issue
I
is-
think it's in like one of the newer sets, right?
This is when, like the prequel trilogy as well. Like when all the creativity went. Like I mean, they've always been creative with their games and stuff. But like, yeah, like there were some really cool ships. I think. When did we first see? No, it was because around that it was after. The prequel trilogy that came out that we had the Clone Wars series, right? And that's where we first saw the B-wing, wasn't it?
I
Or was that
think so. Wait, so what are you asking me? When we first saw the B-wing?
Yeah, I believe it was in the actual animated series.
Yeah, because the main sort of trio have one, don't they? If
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the right ship.
The one that folds, the one that has like a really it looks a
Yes.
bit like the Imperial Imperial Y-wing, I think it is.
I know exactly what you mean.
No,
yeah.
no,
I
sorry,
can't
the
remember what.
Imperial shuttle, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what theirs is called. It has like a specific name, but yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's an awesome ship.
It's cool. There was one scene, I think it was probably earlier on in the series, but there was like it just folded the one wing and they were just kind of flipping around asteroids and canyons and stuff. And yeah, It was fucking awesome. I love stuff like that. Just where it doesn't move the same as other ships. I think that was their main premise with having it in the actual thing. They were like,
Hmm.
yeah, this doesn't look like anything else. Let's put it in.
Yeah, Dave
Um,
Filoni, like, well, we're animated now. I can do what I want.
well, I mean, there's also the limits of animation back then, which I mean, that first season, oh boy.
True, true, but still, he managed it. He pulled it off.
Yeah, they pulled it off pretty well. They had a. I remember in the first season they had a little weird raccoon Sonic the Hedgehog motherfuckers. They were cute. Little
Is that the
farmer
one on
guys.
on the planet where the Ayla Secure is there and she gets shot or something, or Anakin gets someone gets shot and goes down for a
Yeah.
bit.
So Aayla Secura is there as well, but there's also one of the boss NAS guys that comes over there who is part of the Senate. And he's
Okay.
like, yeah, I'm all fascisty now. Come on, time to get shot, I guess, or whatever.
That was Ahsoka's original design as well, where she had that ridiculous like tube top and the one lightsaber before she got two.
Yeah.
The olden days. Right, we've got well off track here.
Yeah, sorry. I was just like, hey, let's just have a little
I'm gonna put some
hang
of that
out.
section in as a little outtake bit at the end. I think, just as like a little
Oh, wait,
extra
were you
ramble bit.
recording that?
Yeah, I've been recording this
Oh
whole
shit.
time. Context for anybody who's wondering about my lovely blue blanket. I'm COVID positive now. This is the first COVID positive episode of the show.
Oh,
So
hang on, whoa, whoa. This is no, only half it is. This half is
yeah,
absolutely
he's
fine.
fine. Chocho's fine, but I'm sipping my hot drinks and got boxes of tissues and hand sanitizer and whatever the fuck else, nasal spray. My
Nice.
saviour in this hell.
I just saw it. I was like,
Opportunity clicks into place.
Goblin brain. Yeah, I went straight to it. Yes, our poor little child Oku Drip is unfortunately ill with the coves, and I've been nurturing and looking after him, making sure he hasn't like disappeared off the face of the earth or something. Um, but
Yeah.
that hasn't stopped us from doing this thing, this magical little our little magical thing, which
Yep.
is, you know, worth every single minute of it, and it's
Mhm.
fun. So
Yeah.
we're back on track. We've been working hard for this. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Also, we're recording this as partially some initiative for me to actually finish editing episode 4, which is like sitting festering somewhere on my hard drive, waiting for me to come along and finalize it. So I was like, you know what? Fuck the COVID. We're gonna record a new one. We're gonna actually get some content out, and it's gonna galvanize me to edit the last one.
it's like that bit in Daredevil when Ben, the reporter guy, goes home, and Kingpin's just sat in the chair.
Oh God.
And Kingpin is the episode 4 that you haven't done yet.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh my god, I forgot you.
He just gives me a very long speech about why I need to go and finish the episode and how long
Yep.
it's taken me, and then he just gets out of the chair and beats the crap out of me.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so back to the task at hand. Do you have any other thoughts on episode 5? Because we talked a little bit about it, but I want to get through talking about episode 5 and also about episode 6, because there's a lot to talk about with episode 6.
Well, with 5, yeah, we were on about with Pelly, how you actually spot her when Boba first goes through Mos Espa,
Yeah.
or sorry, no, it's not
Isley.
Mos.
Is it Isley or Esper? I can never remember the difference, but yes, you're right. She's like in the background walking with her little trio of
No,
droids.
because Jabba controls Mos Espa, doesn't he?
Yes.
So that means Jabba's palace is set in Mos Espa, so they must be in Mos Eisley. They are, because
Yes.
there's the bigger spaceport and stuff, and then in the cantina.
Yeah.
Right, cool. See, we know too much about this stuff. Well, we don't, because we had to figure that bit out. But I mean, but yes, you walk past that scene, you see all the stormtroopers' heads on spikes,
Mm.
and if you had a very keen, nerdy eye, like a lot of the internet did, you'll see Pelly and her 3 little squadron of pit droids just swaggering through town, just like ready to, yeah, that's it.
Do some mechanicking. Yeah.
That's right, and yeah, I absolutely loved bumping into her again because she was already a cool character. And she
Mhm.
was all like, she was the perfect like quirky side. Like her and Ugnaught were the coolest side characters of Mando's story because
Mhm.
Ugnaught was just a weird guy. It was always like, oh, I've spoken, I've spoken.
What was the
But like,
Ugnaught's name? Because I was trying to remember it the other day, and I could not, for the life of me, remember
I can't
what
remember his
the
name either.
what the dude's name was. Sorry to just interrupt you. I just wondered if you had any idea.
I've no idea, mate. I'm still part through rewatching it, so um, but yeah, blah, 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 blah.
Yes, you were saying about how the Ugnaught and Pelly are the perfect sort of quirky side
Yeah, like
characters.
they're unique. They are like they aren't they're not they're not made to be just passed off. Like you have to consciously pass them off and ignore them, but they make themselves so present in their scenes,
Mhm.
and they're so like integral to the story. Like the in the second episode or first episode, I can't remember, but I think it's the second one. No, it
Of
is the
Mando
first one.
or of Boba?
Mando, sorry, it's the first one when he goes to wherever the fuck the child is, and like they're like, oh, I can't cross this thing because I haven't got a speeder, and this guy knows how to ride the thing. It's cool, and then his ship has some damages, and Pelly's like, hey, I'll help repair it and stuff, and
Mhm.
like while they give a transactional offering to the main character, they also are just present in um, their own state of being that they just. Oh, sorry, there is a train of thought here. Don't worry. But
No,
like
no,
there
I'm
is,
100% with you. Like they have so
yeah,
much kind of going on for themselves anyway. Like we come across Pelly and she has this deal with Mando, but you can very much just picture her going about her daily business and fixing ships and interacting with her droids on the daily because she leaves a mark.
yeah. I don't mean just an immersion status, but I also mean in the quirky, like they haven't already got a backstory in Star Wars. They're like a pleasant surprise that you
Hmm.
bump into, which Star Wars has always done really, really well. Mostly really, really well. Um, Except for some side characters like Benicio del Toro. Um, ugh, ugh. That's a different discussion. I think we are going to actually plan having a full-on rant about the sequels one day, which I think will
Someday,
be, yeah,
what has already been said and what hasn't already been said.
yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be just two white kids based in the UK just getting angry about fictional characters for like 35 minutes or something.
It is
But anyway,
literally the black hole of storytelling for this franchise because you can't go anywhere in the main continuity without thinking, one day everything goes to hell again and the Jedi all die again.
because we can't write any of the different plot points.
Yep.
But anyway,
Anyway,
so bumping into Pelly at Mos Eisley again was really cool because, well, yeah, we see like he's like, I need a new ship, bro. Ray's crest is broke. I was upset about that like recently, but I was like, oh, dude, that's such a cool ship. It was a very unique looking ship. It wasn't like it wasn't based off Slave One. It wasn't based off whatever else. It was its own absolute unit of a ship, which I think some of the writers and creators of Star Wars are really good for doing them. They make really good looking ships.
yeah.
And so when we go into her little mechanic area and we see this ship under a top, I thought at first it was, and I'll say it again. Here we go. Are you ready? It was General Grievous' ship, which is called the Soulless One. I'm not going to go on with the rest of it, but
Yeah.
it's the one he uses. I think he uses it in Revenge of the Sith. I don't remember which point he uses it in, but I think he uses it to escape some stuff. But
Yeah,
I'm
he uses
absolutely-
it to fly to Utapau, I think.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
See, if I don't know it, you will, and if
Yeah.
you don't know it, I won't. But um, yeah, I thought it was that ship, and I was like, that's an awesome like throwback. It was like no one's gonna know what the ship is, and like
Yeah.
unless they name drop who owned it, or like there was like some kind of like little icon of his face drawn on it or something. Or his
Yeah.
head, like his head was in there or something. That would be fucking awesome. But no, it was equally awesome. It's Naboo Starfighter. And
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's still prequels. That's still in this era. Well, actually, it's post era, isn't it? It's actually post Darth Vader and stuff, isn't it? So
Yes.
this is Luke in his prime. He's in his black robe, so
Yeah.
he's defeated Vader. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, no,
Um,
yeah. This is after. This is 9. not 9, 5 years. It's about 6 years now after the Empire has fallen. But yeah, it's the N1 Starfighter, and it looks fantastic. It was always a cool design, but to see it brought back and repurposed to something else is just like, just give that little extra burst of life into something that was used decades ago.
Yeah, sorry to butt in. They didn't just give it us back. They were like, hey, let's put some fucking nitrous on this stuff. Let's make it like super fast and like super retro and stuff. When he goes out of the system into space, I thought when he gets bumped into by the two X-wings, I thought the older guy was one of the actual original pilots from the OT, and I'm like, no, he's probably way too old for that.
Yeah,
I'm probably wrong with that, but
it is the guy who was in Mandalorian. It's either near the start of season 2, I think, or it's one of the guys from near the end of season 1, and he's one of the X-wing pilots. I don't know who he is though, if he's like a cameo appearance for someone or if he's just his own character, because usually they like to throw in cameos for the X-wing pilots, so I don't know if that was something, but he was cool. I like how they don't show his face at first, and you just hear this very commanding voice kind of cut in on the conversation, and then it pans across, and you're like, oh fuck, I know this guy.
I'm just having a look at the cast for it. It won't show me who it is, because he's not a main character. It was cool to see Danny Trejo again, though, because he was in the OT, wasn't he?
Was he?
I believe so, yeah.
I'm having a look.
Okay.
No, this is his first.
Oh.
This is his first Star Wars appearance.
He's for some reason pretty celebrated. I don't know why. There was like a picture of him and Tamura, like arm in arm, like me and you when we first met, where like there was like a surge of romance. But like, yeah, I thought there was like, I don't know, maybe they're old friends or something. Maybe they've been in other stuff. But
yeah, maybe.
Anyway, what's cool? Anyway, episode 5. Awesome stuff, like nice little throwback with the N1. I love the silver design. I love, again, when we were on before about how they show emotion through the helmets and stuff, you just see how quiet he is, how he's just like inspecting the ship. He's like, at first he was like, oh no, it's going to be a rust bucket. But also, the scene of them building the ship, I love scenes like that, where they build something together.
It's really nice. Cool. It's like a vibe just bracketed in a moment, and it's a good moment, and it feels good. Another moment from that episode that I thought had a similar vibe, in the sense that it was just a nice little bracketed moment, was when he has to hand his weapons over to get the transport to Tatooine, and there's just this nice music plays in the background while he's unloading everything, taking out all of his things, and it just fills up this weapons tray. And then he goes, I know everything that's in there, and then he gets on the ship, and then we're gone. We're on to another scene. But just like that moment was perfect.
Also, just the relatable bit when the little alien kid's just peeking over at him, just like that, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And also, oh god, I hate kids. But like,
yeah.
That was a cool little bit. And then again, when you see that kid again when they're on the spacecraft back home, and you see Mando in the N1, and he's like, big ship, it's just like that is pure Star Wars. It's just like cool stuff and cool little throwbacks and stuff, and like the reason why I don't need to explain this, but I'm going to say it anyways. The reason why we're excited about seeing the N1 ship is because it's so unique. It was used in such an iconic moment. It's building on already from before of the original trilogy, so we've got layers and layers of like a big hole we want to keep going deeper into, and this is now saying, hey, this is linked all the way to the bottom of this hole, and there's this cool ship, and it looks brand new and silver, and your favorite Mandalorian's driving it. So
yeah.
Also, it just looks like, I think it's my favorite looking ship so far.
It's very cool. The only other thing that I want to mention from episode 5 before we move on to episode 6, just we could talk about some more stuff with Paz Vizsla and the Armorer, but I know we'd literally be here for another hour. So just one thing that I wanted to mention is that Peli has a BD droid now, which is like, I'm so pleased that they did it, because the first time we see a BD droid, I'm pretty sure, in any media that's not like a comic or something, or maybe the first time altogether, I don't know, is in Fallen Order, and we have BD-1, who belongs to Eno Cordova and is passed on to Cal, and it's like, the way this BD droid moves in the Book of Boba Fett is perfect. They got its movements exactly down, the little tippy-tappy feet, the little quirky head movements, it just looks so good, and I love seeing things brought to live action from other media. I know that's something everyone always goes crazy for. Like, I was watching a a reaction video for the Cad Bane appearance, and this guy was just like screaming like, "What the fuck? Holy shit, it's Cad Bane!" Like, I know that's something people always go mental for, but I have to say it because I just thought it was perfect that they brought this BD droid to life on the big screen.
When I first saw that bit with Cad Bane and Cobb Vanth and stuff...
Should we use this as our official trajectory into episode 6?
Yeah.
No, you're good, I'm just, like, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, this is a late... I don't remember much of it, because I'm only freshly watched it. I remember seeing this walking down, and I was like, okay, that isn't Jamie Foxx, that's definitely, the guy from Clone Wars who I've seen, like, ages ago, and I was like, I can't remember their name, because, like, unlike you, I haven't watched all of Clone Wars, or watched it religiously as a kid. I watched it now and then, I remember, like, the only episode I remember off by heart was the one where Ventress is fighting Yoda, and, the first 4, like, it's like the first episode, I think, literally.
That is the pilot, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I remember just watching that and eating cinnamon crunch toast or whatever. It was a great time. But like, I saw it and I was like, oh, that's the guy. And I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. I'm excited for people who like this stuff. It's great. And that was like, I mean, we know with the whole Mandalorian stuff, they're loving the spaghetti western style stuff, and that was very spaghetti. Like how he doesn't even park a ship next to the buildings. He's walking from a mile up. He's taking his time. He's not rushing anything.
Yeah.
He's gonna get your attention and stuff. And he just kills him.
It was fucking insane. Like, as soon as I saw the hat, I was like, oh my god, it's Cad Bane. Then I had a moment of unsurety. It was like the Thundercat thing. I was like, is it though? Is it? And then he got closer and I was like, there's nobody else who has that silhouette. There's nobody else with that silhouette and that hat, and then he comes up, and it's the same voice actor from the Clone Wars, and he just looks fucking cool and sounds fucking cool. Yeah.
Also, the CGI was amazing. Was that CGI or was that practical? Because I couldn't tell.
I have a feeling it's practical.
That's impressive.
I think it's practical, which is why it looks slightly odd. Very cool, but slightly odd. Like, the nose is kind of the wrong shape, because I think they wanted to make it work for practical. I could be wrong. Someone tell me in the comments if that is CG, but I'm pretty sure that's practical.
I was on the Explore page and I saw like a practical head of it, so it might be real, but I might be wrong as well. But that makes it even better because we do know that Star Wars love doing stuff practical as well. Because it looks cool. It just looks weird. Like when you go into there was that same motif again of just going into big clubs and stuff and seeing weird aliens talking and making weird noises and stuff. And it's like, that's just regular stuff. It's not even questioned at all, which is why it makes the whole thing a lot more immersive. There's no one coming up to the camera and saying, "Hey, so that's that thing, that's that thing, and these are all these things." And these guys don't like each other, and it's like, we don't care. They're just there.
Yeah, we just like looking at the cool aliens because that's what brings the immersion.
Exactly. So, can you describe it to me just to catch me up on who Cad Bane is? I know he works for the Syndicate, but I don't know exactly his whole story.
So he is a bounty hunter. He's one of the most dangerous bounty hunters in the galaxy. For quite a while, he's pretty much the top dog. Like, he was sort of one of the bounty hunters that took Boba in, I think, after Jango died, right? And he's dangerous. If you see him, you're scared. There's an arc. It's either a singular episode or a whole arc, but it's kind of proven that he can go toe to toe with the Jedi. If he wants to, he can go toe to toe with the Jedi, and he can hold his own, and he does. And obviously, he survives those encounters because he is here in Book of Boba Fett. He has quite a few run-ins with Obi-Wan. There's like a whole arc where Obi-Wan goes into like undercover, and he like uses like a facial transformation thing to make himself look completely different, and Cad has a whole arc in that as well. And through these arcs, he became like a fan favorite character from that show. So TLDR, big boss bounty hunter, very scary, very strong, and people love him. So to bring him in here, sorry, what did you say?
A big deal.
Yeah, he's a big deal, and so to bring him in here with these other characters like Luke and Ahsoka and whatever, I feel like it's like Dave doing a bit of a victory lap. Like, these are my babies, Ahsoka and Cad Bane. These are my babies that I created, and I'm putting them in this show because I'm directing this episode. So I kind of babbled my way through that, but you get the deal. Like, Cad Bane is kind of considered a pretty, he's a big shot, and there's an arc that was scrapped, and you can find on YouTube like half animated, like half finished animation, where he has like a duel with Boba, and I believe it's still considered canon, regardless of the fact it never made it in, because if you don't know, the Clone Wars was cancelled in 2014, and then they brought it back in 2019 or 20 to do season 7, but when it got cancelled after season 6, there was a few arcs that obviously never got to be added to the show, and that was one of them. Boba kind of having his coming-of-age moment and going up against Cad Bane, and you see him like wearing his armor, and there are a few other bounty hunters like Bosk and stuff, they're all present. So people think that Cad and Boba are probably going to have a rematch and have the duel that we never got to see on screen, because obviously the arc was scrapped, and people think that's kind of where it's headed with him and Boba.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I hope that clears it up anyway.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's a very good explanation. Thank you. Well, I mean, the internet went crazy, so yeah. I mean, obviously, it wasn't trending because it was trending on Twitter, but there was a certain other announcement that was taking the big spot. GTA 6.
Yes.
That's a different
podcast, but yeah.
I need to catch up on all this Clone Wars stuff, and I really look forward to it. I actually need to have the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
Also the ADHD pointing stuff. Anyway, episode 6.
Yes. Ooh, what a banger. What an absolute banger. I mean, we had Luke and Ahsoka interacting, which was insane, because that's like Anakin's legacy. We had a lot of Grogu. We had the whole thing, we see Yoda's lightsaber again. Cad Bane is here. Boba is not saying much, which was weird. I don't know, what are your thoughts? Because I think this is the best episode in the season so far, but you cannot fail to acknowledge how weird it is that it's the Book of Boba Fett, and that episode content is what it is.
I think this series should have been called Star Wars Stories, or something like that.
Yeah.
Rather than it, like, that's what they could do if they don't have a whole season planned out for one whole character, because we know for damn sure they did not have a whole season planned out for Boba Fett.
No.
If episode 7 doesn't have Book of Boba Fett, that means that there are 3 episodes that don't have Boba Fett that are better than the 4 episodes that we had with Boba Fett with. So we can't really, we'll just call it Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah, that's essentially what it's become anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've got to wait over 48 hours for this next episode anyway, so
yeah,
we can speculate left and right. I mean, that's what we do on this channel anyway. When No Way Home first kind of got released, we were like, but
yeah, we're big speculators here. Also, since I've been doing a lot of pointing behind me, funny you mention No Way Home, because here I have the Spider-Man and the Ahsoka pop vinyls just chilling on the side there, very topical currently.
Is that a record player behind it as well?
Yes, it is. It's my record and CD player, and
it is 7 inches or 12.
What's the difference?
Size.
No, I know, I know the size is different, but like, what's a regular album disc? Like, what's that size?
I mean, 7-inch is usually like LP
Okay, then
or
yeah,
EP.
I guess it's normal sized.
Can we keep that in, please? Just
Yes,
on
we
the
can.
side.
No, I mean it has different speeds, so you can do like the different speeds for the different disc sizes.
Okay. What's the difference? Size. um, but yeah, this episode was really cool. Episode 6, anyway. It was awesome because we got to see a throwback to um, Luke on not Bogano, is it? It's not Bogano,
No,
sorry.
Bogano's the
Uh,
one from the start of Fallen Order.
yeah, my bad. But it's the swamp planet.
Dagobah, right?
Dagobah. That's it. It's a bog. It's got bog in it.
It's yeah,
No, actually, it doesn't.
but it's got the letters
it
for
has-
bog in it.
Oh, we're getting to the end of the recording. Yeah, like we get to see like throwback, like he does the flips, he does like all the little jumps and stuff, and
Mhm.
he's got the little knapsack as well. Like that was really cool, and it was a nice little throwback and stuff. And also the little androids that we saw were really cool.
Those were awesome. I love that design.
Yeah, they were just like they look very Clone Wars esque with the white and blue.
Yeah,
They looked very I mean, obviously they're pre post Empire, but like still.
yeah, they
They're,
look
like, very,
awesome.
yeah. And we get to see Luke's teaching
Thing,
house.
teaching
They
shack.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And this is the one that has. And someone pointed out that they have the elder text that we see on his island in.
That movie.
I'm not. I'm,
Yeah.
Yes, the trilogy that should not be named. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's like very clear that he's in full Jedi mode now, and that's awesome to see. And I think oh my god, dude, can we talk about the CGI facial improvement from the end of Mando season 2 to now? Because
Okay,
the end of
yeah.
Mando season 2 is pretty, and now he looks amazing. Not perfect, but he looks amazing.
Oh yeah, he does look way better. There was one bit where he was like casting shadow, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh god, yeah, they should have just like, had him in the light and stuff. But like, still, it was all good. The voice was, I guess it was still the same voice guy from season 2 of Mando, but like it was like,
Yeah, Mark
things I'm getting
Hamill.
used to. Is it Mark Hamill?
It is, yeah.
No, it sounds very weird. It sounds like it's just like I think it's because the face looks so weird that I
Yeah.
can't put Mark Hamill's voice to it.
No, it's odd, but it's Mark Hamill's voice, face, and some other dude walking around. I can't remember the guy's name, but I'm pretty sure he's the one. He's the other X-wing pilot. That's his little cameo. He's the other
Yes,
X-wing
yeah.
pilot in episode 5. Yeah.
I do want to point out, I don't know if you saw the same video or if you were the one who sent me it. I don't think you were. But I found this video that explained that the lightsaber that Grogu's given
Hmm.
might have been one of Yoda's alternate lightsabers because one of them gets destroyed in the comics.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. And yeah, so this could be. Obviously, you can live to be like. I think he was like 800 when he died or something like that.
900. Yeah. 900,
yeah. He probably. I don't think he'd had just one lightsaber.
No,
Like,
definitely not.
they're like headphones. You just lose them or they just break. You know what I mean? Like it happens, man. The find the kyber crystal. If you're that in tune with the Force and got that many midi chlorians or whatever,
Yeah.
then you should be able to find one. No trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
and then
100%.
The flashback where Grogu's being protected by the Padawan learners.
Dude.
Someone pointed out that Sin, the one in the middle, was dead. But we don't know. I don't know if that was. I'll have to find the post again
Okay.
because
Yeah.
it's gone missing. But yeah. So there was some cool little things they brought up there.
So who's that?
So I think they were. Hang on. I think they were showing in one of the films or something.
Okay.
Is it this? Yes, it is this one. I will send you it so you can have a look.
Okay.
So Syndralic. It looks as though Syndralic appears in Grogu's flashback of Order 66 along Wee, Malro, and Bene. In Legends, Syndralic was killed by Vader, so they were the three Jedi that were protecting Grogu from the clones. In a scene where Kenobi is viewing the whole recording of Vader and Sin fighting, Sin is never shown to be killed, so we don't know if they were killed by them.
Okay.
And they were also trained by Yoda, so maybe they didn't go too bad.
Yeah, I mean that shot just blew my mind. Like seeing the clone, not only the clones in action again, but seeing the 501st Legion again in action, and they look amazing, and the blaster effects are amazing, and the three Jedi just going crazy, especially the one in the middle, just like getting it with like the backwards like handed thing and flipping it around. It looked incredible, and just the fact that they could have put so much less effort into that. It was a like 15-second long memory that Grogu was being subjected to, and then that could have been it. They could have just shown like maybe a couple of clone troopers running in through a door and left it at that. But instead they put the time in. Even the clones say something.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's just like, for anyone who's just a massive fan of the Clone Wars, and a lot of people are, it's just like ultimate fan service in a just a really well done way.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I don't feel it as full. I mean, obviously I fucking love Star Wars, but I don't feel it as full as you do. But I know Order 66.
Yeah.
Everyone who knows Star Wars should know what Order 66 is. And yeah, seeing like again, I was saying before with the N1 Naboo Starfighter, it's built so much on that feeling of nostalgia, and it does that so well. And it's like, hey, Grogu was there for that as well, so it ties it all together. It's not nostalgia just for. It's not like Ready Player One nostalgia where it's just like, oh, it's the DeLorean, or oh, it's the Iron Giant, and oh, there's a Gundam beating up bad guys. It's like, no, there is a connected universe here. You know, like that, like this is all canon. We've taken the time to actually put all these threads together, and it works.
Yeah, it just works. And like I was saying about, well put by the way, and like I was saying about Dave Filoni's victory lap, that's just another part of it, having the clones come in and having, I know it's not in his episode, but it kind of ties in having the M1 Starfighter, just everything that these people who love Star Wars are working on, they get to bring in elements from other Star Wars media that they didn't make but they love. Like, I've said it before, I say it again, possibly my favorite thing about the new Disney Plus era of Star Wars is that they are bringing in people, directors, actors, behind the scenes crew, people who love Star Wars and want to make good Star Wars. Okay, it's proven that maybe it doesn't always pay off in Robert Rodriguez's case, but for the most part, it works out. And I think like Bryce, Tamara, Taika Waititi, Rick Famuyiwa, all these people, Deborah Chow, they prove that it works, and they prove that bringing on people like that pays off, and the fans get a product that they can fall in love with again. And it's art, it's art in terms of Star Wars. Like, I don't know, it just makes me happy to see things done right. Yeah,
I hope they have like a little sit down meeting with all directors and say, Rob, mate, we love you. You're great. You made an episode.
He made two actually. Episode 1 he also made, which was fine.
They were like, you can have one chase scene, use it bloody well. Like I sat down with him like, okay, Rob, you made 2 episodes and they got some views and they're on the thing. That's really good. We're really proud of you. We're not gonna keep working with you though. That chase scene, mate. Come on, man. Seriously. He's just sitting there like, oh yeah, all right, oh, okay. It's like looking at like a coffee stained notebook of Spy Kids 4: The Return of like the Dream Journal or something like that. That was it. That was one thing. Though.
Dream Journal, like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
That was it.
Yeah.
They all blend together. Come on.
Yeah, very similar films, similar vibe.
But yeah, I hope they kind of keep this trinity of Dave Filoni and Bryce, because fucking hell, Bryce's stuff is amazing.
It's so
Um,
good.
yeah, where are you looking, by the way? You're looking like off to the side.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
are you
looking
looking
at
your
I'm
monitor?
looking at my other monitor just because I was just fact checking myself about Robert, but yeah, he does direct episodes 1 and 3. I just think it's weird that like when they made Mando season 1, in the documentary stuff, they talk about bringing together this group who all love Star Wars and want to make good Star Wars. Where are like half those people now? Because I'm looking at this right. Episodes 1 and 3 directed by Robert Rodriguez. Episode 2, Steph Green. I don't know who that is. Episode 4, Kevin Tancharoen. Don't know who that is. It's only when you get to episodes 5 and 6 and it's Bryce and Dave that it's like, okay, these are the people who we were told would be making good Star Wars now. Sorry, I did interrupt you. I'm sorry. I just thought
No,
that
it's
was
okay.
very strange that they've like picked up these 3 random people who didn't do a very good job.
They just went to like, the nearest community college and they were like, right, we'll give you 12 billion, make 4 episodes. And
What's
your mentor, guys, you've got the best teacher around, Robert Rodriguez, he can help you get your new way.
I like the idea that Robert Rodriguez might just be hanging around a community college for like film students.
He was being set back. And like he goes up, it's like, okay guys, it's show and tell, and like he's like, I've got a Spy Kids 4 here, and yeah, like it's the teacher going, Robert, this is the 12th time we've shown us this film this week.
Oh my god.
Bless him.
Yeah, I could. What's that a quote from? That's not a quote from Sharkboy and Lava Girl, is it?
No, it's what's it called? Ah, the guy, he's got like a triangle head. He's got like a weird head. How do I forget this?
I'm looking it up. Oh
You
my
know what
god,
I
it's
mean?
it's from Jimmy Neutron.
That's it. How
It's
did I forget that?
it's the guy. Yeah, he's like, this is Ultra Lord, and then the teacher's like, this is the 7th week in a row you've shown Ultra Lord in
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, but just imagine that with Robert Rodriguez and how he's just like, and we get the same actors from like 2001, but
Oh
we dress up in the
god.
same clothes and all ill-fitting and stuff. 'Cause that's all I can afford.
Okay, I had to hop on here and just insert this in because the whole time we're talking about Robert Rodriguez and we're talking about the mix-up with the Dream Journal quote from Shark Boy and Lava Girl. Whole time, Robert Rodriguez fucking directed Shark Boy and Lava Girl as well as as well as Spy Kids. Like, can we just talk about the like John Favreau and whoever else, Kathleen Kennedy, sat down when it was time to hire their directors for Book of Boba Fett, and they were like, "Let's hire the Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl guy." I'm literally crying. It's so dumb. I was just talking about this with Shocho because what a fucking revelation! Like, it's just funny. It's just funny that they did that, but also just funny that we sat here the entire time and talked about the Dream Journal quote and the Shark Boy Lava Girl Jimmy Neutron mix up, and then the whole time he was just sitting under our noses. Whatever. Enjoy the rest of the podcast.
But yeah.
We've gotten so off topic again.
Anyway, yeah, I've got this other thing to read in front of me, by the way, from this post. By the way, this retcon stuff that I'm reading, for everyone's knowledge, is from a Instagram account called Porcelain Skywalker. And it's an amazing. I've only found this page recently. It's got some proper obscure facts about Star Wars, so I'd have a look. But so this comic says about Luke. Sorry, this part says about Luke's first Padawan. So in the comic Rise of Kylo Ren, Ben describes to Ren 3 other Padawans he trained alongside with, Vo, Henrix, and Tai. He states, "We all flew together. I was first, but they came not long after." so it doesn't suggest that Kylo Ren was his first Padawan. Um, and yeah, so this is all Kylo's perspective of him thinking he was the first Padawan trained by Luke.
That's interesting.
So he might not have told Luke might not have told Ben Solo or Kylo Ren, whatever you want to call them, about Grogu, um, and which gives Luke about 7 to 8 years to train Grogu.
Mm.
And
I mean, you never know.
it,
Grogu
it
might
also
have learned
says
to talk by then.
that yeah, true. But this also says, given that Grogu has already received some Jedi training, this is a justified time frame. So yeah,
Mm.
he might have the grit. He might have the right midichlorians or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah, we don't know what Grogu's choice was, because someone pointed out that if Grogu takes a lightsaber, it messes up all the sequel stuff. I think, or messes up all the kind of, I don't know. Someone mentioned that stuff, and I was like, oh, that does make sense actually.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about when I say that like the sequels are just like a black hole of storytelling, because whatever you put in this era now that the Empire is gone, the New Republic is in full swing, and Luke is setting up a new Jedi school, and Ahsoka is out and about. Whatever you put in here is gonna be affected by the fact that in 30 years the First Order is in full swing, and they kill the Republic. They kill off the Republic with the Star Killer base penis, whatever. So
Yeah.
it's weird. Like, I think, I don't know, they would have to do some insane workaround where like Grogu conveniently goes away into Jedi hiding, like across the period of the sequel movies. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. There's so many conflicting points of view, because this one says that Luke might have enough time to fully train Grogu with his predestined, sorry, already done training
Yeah.
before. So he might have a head start with that,
Hmm.
and then that might mean he might take the chainmail suit or whatever,
Yeah.
which is adorable, just little Mando baby grow. Um, and yeah, I don't know. And then someone else is like, oh, if he joins Luke, then that messes stuff up, and I'm like, yeah, but how? I don't know. There was a post for it, but I've lost it, so forgive me for trying to piece it together myself.
No. I mean, you're spot on, because if he joins Luke, that's like a weird kind of. You either have to assume that he's taken away somewhere, or leaves to go away somewhere and go into like Jedi hiding, like Yoda and Ben Kenobi did, or he dies when Kylo Ren goes apeshit, and that's not like, there's no way they would build up this beloved baby Yoda character, give him his entire story, and then just have him get killed off by Kylo Ren when,
Especially in the trilogy of all things.
yeah, like that doesn't make any
That's gonna cause
sense.
so much uproar if they go that path. People's gonna be like, "This is not on."
No,
It
absolutely.
it was one thing to have uh, some really bad choices in those films, and it was also another thing to give me this adorable little character who eats frogs and likes a
Mhm.
little metal ball, and then just have him killed off by the most emo motherfucker
Yes.
this side of the parsec.
Yeah. It would,
Um,
there would be complete and utter, like, people would just be in disarray. But on the other hand, if he takes the chainmail and Luke sends him back to be with Din, then that feels like lazy storytelling to me. It feels kind of weird, because it's like, then why did we have this whole thing with Ahsoka telling Din that Grogu would need to let go of his attachments, and then having him taken to Luke and have Luke start to build a relationship with Grogu? If he just goes back to Din, then what was it all for? I don't want to talk on something that's pointless speculation, but you see what I mean? It's like weird. It's
Yeah,
weird
I see
either
what
way.
it's not as if they've put themselves in a rock and a hard place. It's just, where do we go from here? Because they've given us a real like vague fork in the road here. They're like,
Mhm.
right, do we go to a path that decanonizes the sequel trilogy that we all want to be canonized anyway, or do we have like some more kind of spaghetti western stuff in Mando season 3 where he's just raising Grogu as his own youngling?
And I would love that.
That
It
would be
would. I
interesting.
just feel like it would cheapen the stuff with Ahsoka and Luke that we've had with Grogu, but I wouldn't mind it.
I mean, it might just be a way to bring them back into the fray where Ahsoka now is actually a main character again.
That'd be cool.
Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe that's like because not every character. I mean, obviously, characters can be as present for as long as they need to be, but they can also be a vessel to bring all the characters back into the fray. That makes sense. This might have been a long, big, complicated path they had to go along, but like they've brought Ahsoka back,
Yeah.
and we've got the N1 Starfighter back, and we've got a BD droid. We're tying all these weird loose ends together, so
Yeah.
maybe like again we're in this. This is our motif of this podcast: is where do we go from here?
Yeah.
But,
And then we go down the rabbit hole and talk about it for 6 hours.
and here we are. We've been recording this podcast since 7 a.m. this morning. So
Yeah. No, well said though. Just to move us on to a different point now, I thought there was something really interesting that one of Mallory's friends pointed out about Luke in this episode, which is like a minor thing, but it really caught my attention. Something about Luke in this new episode of Boba Fett is he's very traditional Jedi, right? Which is strange because in the original trilogy he's pretty unorthodox, right? When he first comes in Return of the Jedi, he literally like chokes out the Gamorrean guards and pushes them off to the side, and then he's wearing like black robes, which is already a little unorthodox just in appearance. He was the first Jedi on screen to have a green lightsaber, where originally we're like kind of told in the first two movies, good is blue, bad is red. And he behaves differently to how the Jedi did before the Purge, it just makes it like a little strange that he would now be behaving very much the classic Jedi Master. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, he has those books on his shelf in his house, so maybe he's been doing some reading and kind of humbled himself. But how do we get from that to Grey Jedi Luke in the sequels?
Yeah. I hope they recanonize the Grey Jedi concept, because that's really cool, and
Luke...
Luke...
It works for his character as well.
Old Luke and current Ahsoka work perfectly for that.
We've had a big cycle from all the way from Qui-Gon Jinn, who was already... The reason he wasn't on the council was because he disagreed with how traditional they were. So it makes sense to have that cycle again. Sorry, my cat's trying to nibble my arms. But it makes sense to have that loop again, because we had Obi-Wan, who was very by the books, but had no training.
Yeah.
And tried to kind of fumble his way through it. And then Anakin, who was way overpowered compared to Obi-Wan. And then originally lost that fight on whatever it was called, the lava planet.
Mustafar.
Mustafar, sorry. That's my favourite Lion King animal. Like the only reason he lost that was because he was just fucking crazy. But like, there's one big change there, and then we have Luke, who he's a wild card.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to follow the same path as Qui-Gon Jinn, who kind of just like, is his own path? Like, again, you're right. He had a green lightsaber. He wore black when he confronted the Emperor and Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi, I believe. Or was it Return of the Jedi? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's the last film of the trilogy. Yeah.
No, but there was a bit on Endor, but that was Return of the Jedi, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I have to rewatch them because I get confused. I get confused.
That's fine.
I
mean, I rewatched Return of the Jedi the other day, so it's very fresh in my head right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank God someone's on track. It's we've got we've got some cool motifs of people coming into their own version of being a Jedi. They've still got their faith, but they're just applying it in different ways. And in the sequels, Luke doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like, he teaches, he gives Rey all the information, and says, "Don't go to the dark side," because obviously he's like thinking about his dad and
Yeah.
whatever else, that kind of stuff. And then she confronts it, and she has a badass double lightsaber. I mean, come on, who? I'd give everything up for that. And then like we have, we have a nice end, I guess, where she uses her staff to make this, and someone else's kyber crystal to make this lightsaber, and then it ends, and they're like, "Who are you?" And it's like, "I'm Ray Skywalker." And I was just
Yeah.
like, But anyway, this is all off topic.
No, but
that's
your point about people becoming their own kind of versions of what it means to be a Jedi is correct, and I wish we'd had a better written version of the Rey at the end of that story, because she gets her yellow lightsaber, and she looks really cool, and she's kind of doing her own thing now. I would have loved to have seen where she goes with that, but yeah, Ahsoka is finding her own way as her own version of what it means to be a Force user. Luke is doing the same thing with kind of what he feels it means to be a Jedi, and now he's passing that on to Grogu. So you're absolutely spot on.
it's like the motif is like the whole thing of Star Wars has always been right from I don't mean just from the OT, I mean from the prequels. It's been like a theme that just because things are the way they are doesn't mean they should be years from now on.
Mhm.
And the reason there are wars and the reason that people die might give you the slightest inkling that maybe you might exchange a couple of things.
Mhm.
And if that isn't a real world life metaphor, I don't know what is. But still, like that they give that, they really lead into that. They've always leaned into that. They've always, it's always set in this kind of like, every planet you go to, like it's only the rich that have like all the fancy like Coruscant and stuff like that. Not
Mhm.
Coruscant. Is it Coruscant? Yeah.
The planet where like the Jedi Temple and stuff is, yeah.
Well, yeah, that one's pretty fancy, but the one that they're in Attack of the Clones, where not Leia, Padme gets attacked by some weird slug stuff. Um,
Yeah, Coruscant.
it is Coruscant.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it is. Yes. Yeah. But they have like all these big societies and stuff, and they show one in one of the sequels, and it's just a really weird subplot. My wider point was just that Grogu's going to come into his own. I mean, that's
right.
always the case with every character. Whether he does become a Jedi and somehow has his full training in 7 to 8 years before Kylo Ren's introduced, and then finds Din Djarin again
Mhm.
somehow through the Force. Maybe this is a big reach. This is a huge reach. Maybe he can sense him with the darksaber. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's really they could go there. They could go there. I'm not saying they can't go there. They
Yeah,
could
I
do,
guess so.
like I don't know, stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
In Star Wars, they've done stupid like you can heal people now. It's like, well, where was that when his dad was dying? Okay, never mind. But like,
Yeah.
you know,
I think with Grogu, it feels like they could be leading towards him becoming some kind of Jedi Mandalorian hybrid, like Tar Vizsla, who is the Jedi Mandalorian who's brought up a couple times. Personally, I think the most likely route for this character is going to be that he takes the lightsaber, fine. Luke trains him for a few years, and then he's passed on to someone else through some kind of event that happens, because we are told, I can't remember exactly when, I think it might be in the middle of season 2 of Mando when he meets Ahsoka, but we're told that Grogu was taught through the years by different masters, and he had his training because he lives for so long. There's not always going to be one Jedi Master who can stick around to train him all the time. He has to have multiple masters as time goes on. So I would assume the most likely thing is, and I would love for this to be true, is either Ahsoka decides to go back on her word and take him in for training, or Ezra turns up and trains him himself, or maybe even Cal.
or Sia.
Yes.
She was a Jedi teacher.
Yeah, exactly. I would assume he's going to end
yeah.
up with somebody else like that, which is what puts him out of harm's way when Kylo goes apeshit. That's my kind of theory on it.
There's also the possibility of Force ghosts, because the sequel's canonized the island that Luke's on is force powerful enough to generate a puppet Yoda who goes when he burns a tree.
Yeah.
You really hate this film.
I just think they're so dumb. They're so dumb. I'm just picturing myself sitting in the cinema when Yoda appeared, and I was like, "Why are we doing this? What was the reason?" It's so I don't know, but that's a hateful podcast episode for another time. I'm pretty much talked out for now. I think about all this stuff.
But like, I mean, we'll come back to it on when. Well, I don't know what we're going to do for Wednesday because there's the finale. So
Yeah.
we'll either just do. I don't know what we're going to do for it. We could push it forward, I guess, for another podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing a little one. I don't mind just doing a little one, because this was meant to be a small one, and it ended up being a lot larger than I thought, though fair enough, not quite as large as episode 3 was, or sorry, episode 4 was. So I don't mind doing a little one. We can come back and talk about that. But I think that kind of wraps us up and brings us on to our some. Okay, so I'm gonna kick us off with this one, and I want to talk about math rock, which is a little rock subgenre, which is pretty cool. I'm going to pause 1 second to just bring up the wiki description of math rock so I can describe it to you all without giving you false information. Yeah, so it's a style of progressive and indie rock. It's characterized by complex, atypical rhythmic structures, including irregular stopping and starting, counterpoint odd time signatures, angular melodies, and extended, often dissonant chords. It bears similarities to post-rock. Essentially, just to simplify it, it's a little bit quirky, and it sounds cool, and it speeds up and slows down. And one of the biggest characteristics of it is if you try and tap your fingers along to the beat of a math rock song for any continuous period of time, you'll find after a moment that you're out of time, and you can't quite stay in time with the song the whole length through, because it changes and switches up. Excuse me, and switches up. And specifically, I wanted to talk about a band that I've recently gotten into called Elephant Gym, who are a Taiwanese math rock group. They have just, I don't know, I've only listened to maybe like 3 or 4 songs by them, but I am just obsessed already. There's one called Spring Rain, which I love, and then there's a slightly different version of it, which I've also been banging out. And then there's one that unfortunately doesn't have any English in the title, so I can't tell you what it's called, but it's from the same EP as Spring Rain, and I just love the way it kind of kicks off, and it's at a moderate tempo, and then it gets faster, and it has a cool fast bit, and then it slows right down, and there's some just lovely vocals, and then it kicks up at the end, and it feels good. It makes you feel cool to walk along and listen to it, and it's just something a little bit different, you know. Like, I like a lot of sort of, you know, Japanese, Korean, like indie rock, whatever. I like sort of my alternative and indie K-pop. And there's like a lot of like playlists on YouTube. Hasoyi and Tardi Obscurus are 2 great channels that do playlists for like Japanese jazz, math rock, like K-pop, indie, sort of alt Japanese rock music, all sorts of stuff. And that's where I discover a lot of it. And Elephant Gym just fit bang right into the formula of all that stuff, and I just love it. It's just a sound that I'm really finding myself into, so I fully recommend going and checking out Elephant Gym.
Oh, well, have a gander. Is that GYM or JIM?
Yes, that is GYM, like gymnasium, rather than gym, the name. So I've said my piece. Over to you. What would you like to say this week?
I would like to say that I have put some stuff on your playlist.
Ah.
A band called Polyphia. Have you heard of them?
I haven't, but I'm having a look now.
Ooh,
cool album cover.
If you like math rock, you'll fucking love these guys.
Okay.
It's blanked. Yes, Caligula's Horse. So, I'm also going to recommend music because I like to copy Arthur. So Caligula's Horse, I was shown by a ex-colleague who I used to work with at a music store.
Mhm.
And they are a contemporary progressive metal band hailing
Ooh.
from Brisbane, Australia. And if you like, for any metal fans that ever watch this video, if you like Dream Theater, you'll like their newest album, Bloom, which is very sorry, not Bloom, sorry, Rise Radiant. That is their newest album, and it's very John Petrucci-ish, who is the main guitarist, and he's
Mhm.
just a wizard.
How do you spell the band name, by the way? Just because I'm going to write it down.
So Caligula, so Cali,
Mhm.
and then Gula.
Perfect. And that's Caligula's horse.
Yes.
Dope.
Um, and yeah, they've got all the stuff is great. All the stuff is cool. I recommend Bloom and Rise Radiant as albums first, and then In Contact has, well, there's a couple of good songs. Like Will's song is pretty cool, but like the rest of it is kind of like, because the guy's got a very ethereal, fairy-like voice. He likes reading some Shakespearean weird stuff in the middle of it, and I'm like,
Okay.
uh, yeah, okay, I guess we're doing this. But it like the it's got cool music, and it's I enjoy it, and it's just nice. They've got some cool sounds, and they're like making the cool sounds, and
Mhm.
I like the cool sounds.
Hell
So
yeah.
um,
I love shit that's just kind of different and cool and weird and offbeat.
and to bounce off Arthur's recommendation of math rock, which I didn't expect at all. That's a whole left ball for me. Uh,
Bong.
yeah, it's it. Polyphia, the one I've well, put on your playlist. Polyphia. These guys are awesome. Except the lead guitarist is a bit snobbish, but I mean, if you play that good, sometimes you're gonna be a bit snobby. Um, they still make good music. I don't really care as long as they're not racist or dickheads. I'm not gonna not listen to them.
This album, New Levels, New Devils,
Devils.
by Polyphia, I feel like you recommended me something off here, and I think I listened to it, but I cannot remember which song it was. But I do believe I can back up this recommendation because I
The
have a feeling it was cool.
the one I've recommended you. So I bought the guitar tabs for this album.
Mm.
Um, I think the bass tabs are there as well. It's not easy. This is not easy. The one I recommended to you is called Saucy, and I've tried attempting it before, which you might have seen, um,
Mhm.
like back during lockdown and stuff. Yeah, when we first pretty much started got the ball rolling in our friendship, really.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's hard stuff, but some of the sounds are just so nice to play, and the rhythms are really. I come from a long line of family members that love solving puzzles. Maybe that might just be exclusive to me, but like, I love hearing a thing and thinking, how does that work? Let me try it myself,
Mm.
and let me try and move all the things close together and make it make sense in my head, and see if it actually works when I play it back with the actual thing.
It's pretty cool.
That seems like too convoluted to explain, but hopefully it's not gibberish.
I'm with you.
Are you with me? Good. Thank God. I thought I was just like speaking Simlish at you. Um, but it's cool stuff. The whole album's awesome. Like there is some really, really. If you like widdly guitar sounds, and OD has some seriously good slap bass on it as well.
Love a bit of slap
Um,
bass.
we do love slap bass because we love Thundercat.
Mhm.
He doesn't really slap too much though. He just kind of
He
his
just
hands just slide.
fucks at light speed.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's crazy.
yeah. This is that his hands are what made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Yeah.
We brought back to Star Wars. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, no, that's awesome. And without going into depth, because we need to wrap this up, but all of you also listen to Thundercat, please, as a joint
yeah,
recommendation from both
please
of
do.
us. Yes.
Yeah.
Cool
If,
bassist, cool vocalist, cool everything else.
if you're gonna go for any album first, I'd go with Drunk first. That one's probably my favorite one. Because there's loads of. I mean, obviously his other stuff is amazing, but it's a good starting point. lots of good R&B, nice chilled out tunes, some good bass and some good melodies and stuff. You
Yeah,
can really see like even his first album, his first proper album, which just starts off with some cool synth lines and then the bass go boom boom, and it's like Thundercats, thunder, oh, and it's just like from
that's
the
awesome.
anime. Yeah, it's awesome. It's such a cool start to an album.
Hmm.
Also a really good album as well. So
And where you're recommending Drunk, I'm going to recommend It Is What It Is, which is his 2020 album, because I love Interstellar Love, you'd probably recognise, or Funny Thing, actually, that one blew up on TikTok. Dragon Ball Durag is amazing, Fair Chance is great, and there was
that's
one
right.
more, Black Qualls, featuring Steve Lacy, Steve Arrington, and Childish Gambino is also
Didn't
fantastic.
you recommend Houseway to me as well, or was that from Drunk?
Houseway is on here, but I don't. Oh, that's the one. That's the short one, isn't it? Where he's just
Yeah,
going super fast. Yeah, Houseway
yeah.
is also really
His,
cool.
his hand is on fire, literally. Yeah,
Brrrr,
yeah.
yeah,
Sounds like a lawnmower or something. Honestly.
yeah, it's
Uh,
awesome. But I don't want us to delve down the Thundercat hole just
well,
because.
there's going to be one slight small recommendation. If you are going to listen to all that stuff, make sure you watch the video for Dragon Ball Durag because that video is a treasure.
It's a great
It's just
video.
it's hilarious, and it's
It's got
just
it's
nice
got Kali
vibe.
Uchis in it as well, hasn't it? She's up
Yeah.
on the
Also,
balcony.
Haim the band,
Yeah,
they're in it at the end. It's just funny. He's just a weird, funny guy.
it's a great song.
Um, and there's a lot more of him in this than there is in Episode 3 of Star Wars. Boba, you know what I mean?
Episode 4, but yes.
They all blend together.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
listen to
our
Caligula's Horse, listen to Thundercat, and listen to Elephant
Elephant
Jim.
Jim.
Alright,
Olivia.
well, yeah. Yeah, and also listen to these other 1,200 million things I've got listed down.
If you don't, we know your IP address.
Yes. Alright, well, we're going to love you and leave you then, because I've had a lot of fun doing this, but now I'm gonna get all this footage into Vegas and prod at it until it's finished, and I'm not going to let my ADHD stop me this time.
Yeah.
Content coming your way.
That's it. We have got some big stuff planned for the future. We have some topics and just some cheeky other little things that we can't really tell you about, but hey, it's the future,
It's
and
the
we're
future.
planning for it. So,
Yeah.
without further ado, we will love you and leave you. Thank you for watching this video.
Hmm.
Thank you for bearing to listen to our voices for the amount of time we've been doing this for. And hopefully you will come back and chat with us about Star Wars stuff because
Hmm.
we would love to hear your perspective on what's going to happen.
Yeah, please do
And
chat with us. You can stick a comment down there, or if you have any ideas that you want to post to us, or kind of like a flipped version of something we'd like to say, where maybe you have a band or a film or whatever that you think we'd like, you can find one of us on Instagram. Our socials are here, so you can find one of us and just say, "Hey, I'm here for the podcast. This is something I feel like you guys would be into," and that's cool. We love that. So thank you so much for coming by and interacting and just chilling out and listening to us go on about the things we like. We will see you whenever the next one comes out. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, something will happen and it'll come out of nowhere, and you'll be like, "Oh, these guys again, the ones that have the set schedule of whenever the fuck."
Oh, I remember when the last episode came out in like 6 months ago. Huh, crazy. These guys are still alive.
We thought they'd like there was no communication between them. We thought they stopped tagging out or like
Yeah.
or something,
Right, okay. Goodbye to you all, and thank you so much for coming along. We will see you very soon,
See
hopefully.
you around.
Bye bye.
Bye.